If it has to do with a relationship, it could just be that the timing isn't right. And again, as we go through this Mercury retrograde, things that we launch may have snafus. That's why they often mention don't do it during a Mercury retrograde if you can avoid it. Obviously, sometimes you can't, and you have to do what you got to do. And then in those cases, you have to be extra vigilant and very much into the details to make sure that everything is spelled out for you. I mean, because signing contracts is a big one, that you have to make sure that everything is totally on point, or else you're going to have headaches down the line. Now, the attitude to adopt is represented by the star card. So this is definitely going along with this Three of Swords, where you may have had a very difficult thing happen, and it may have shaken your faith. You may have thought that all was lost, and now things are coming around, and you're realizing, especially with this card of great victory, that you are going to not only land on your feet, but you're going to actually do quite well. Just like I say with this Mercury retrograde in the second house, you might go, oh crap, that means that for 3 weeks I'm going to have to just sit there, and it's going to be just like, one thing after the next. And yeah, I mean, some of us may have our Mercury retrograde, stories from hell, where we can, kind of compare our war injuries, so to speak, figuratively. But it really doesn't have to be like that, because the more you know, remember that logo, the more you know. That's really what this is all about, is knowing, preparing. That's what I love about astrology. I don't love the idea of thinking we're robots and things are just happening to us from the cosmos and affecting us minute by minute, day by day. But these overall themes, like a Mercury retrograde lasting 3 weeks, I could see that as being a general influence and affecting us, and knowing knowledge is power. So that's all. I mean, I just think that you need to have faith in the unseen and not need it to be spelled out for you all the time. And I think that Leos in general they're definitely very positive. And so therefore, they are the types of people to have faith all the time. But depending on what may have happened to you in the past, even the most unshakable person once in a while can feel a sense of confusion or disappointment, in life when it doesn't come out the way that they want, especially if they feel it's been very unfair. So faith is restored, and you need to realize that. You need to realize that you have a new lease on life, and not to allow anything. There may be kind of residual energy, and so you need to just realize that's being put further and further in the past. The advice, the actual action steps, is represented by the Hierophant card, which is really about cultivating your spiritual life, the way that you view the world in general. As a fire sign, you're very passionate, you're very creative, you're very kind-hearted, warm. But you can be, I would say, out of all three of the fire signs, and I am a Sagittarian, so I'm a fellow fire sign, I think that Leos are the most indulgent in a lot of ways. They tend to be, a very status conscious, to say the least. They want to be where the beautiful people are. They want to have the finest things. And this can make them a little bit too bogged down in materialism. And this is why you may even attract a Taurus to you, for instance. I would say that would be the main influence that would kind of vibrate along those lines. Maybe a Capricorn for the status aspect. Virgo, I do know a couple where one is a Leo and one is a Virgo. But in those cases, the Leo person is likely more like a Virgo. They may have a lot of Virgo in their chart. And so they're not as ostentatious as a typical Leo can be. So you like all the pageantry of life. And this means when you're on a date, you want to be whining and dining and be in the hippest or the most expensive places, and that takes a lot of money. And so you may be very bogged down in that. And in kind of like being the best or being perceived as the best. That takes up a lot of your time and resources. So you need to think about that, rethink that. You know, your ego, where does that get you ultimately? Is it really important to impress other people and have them think you're so great? Or is that a diversion? Is that kind of a dead end? So these are things to think about because they affect every other area of your life and how you live your life. It could be, this is a sign associated with Taurus. You could be dealing with a Taurus, as I had mentioned earlier, in terms of the earth signs. And that might be a person that you decide to pursue. The outcome is the Emperor card. So this is a card of, I think that you're going to be feeling powerful by, you know, the fall time. Or I should say later in the fall. And, you know, you're going to be, all of this other stuff will be in the past. The Emperor could relate to somebody who is an Aries. And so I had said that perhaps a fire sign person is more compatible with you than an earth sign. And even in some cases, an air sign. If an air sign was somebody that you were pining over, that you lost, you may end up with an Aries. And that person may challenge you, for sure, and not let you get away with much, but overall they will be energizing to you and better off for you. I just think that you're going to feel like you have that sense of authority and status. And this all comes about because something happens that makes you, you know, feel like things are restored once they were lost. So that's wonderful. And what I'm going to do now, Leo, is pick a card from the Energy Oracle deck from Sandra and Taylor, just to cap off the reading, to use these cards that I bought and have been kind of let sitting here. It just occurred to me that I should be doing this. 27, walking away. So she's got... Okay, let's look at this. I'm trying to think about, let's see. Letting go, moving on. Okay, so maybe it was something like that. This card shows somebody walking away from an existing situation. She's closing the door. She's closing the gate behind her and is walking away into a misty, unknown future. Oh, you know what's so funny about that? I think I said that you might have cut it off very abruptly. And this would be, you know, a misty future, like unknown future. Because that's kind of like, sometimes it can indicate confusion. She is closing the gate. Okay, I said that. This card upright, reveals that it could be time for you to make a similar decision. There may be something that you're finished with, perhaps a career goal, a relationship, or a long-term experience of any kind. The familiarity of the situation may be enticing, but you're now ready to look at your options on the open road ahead. In reality, an important new beginning is at hand. This card also indicates that now would be a good time to let go of an old habit, emotional pattern, or false belief. No matter how deeply ingrained a negative pattern may be, you now have the power to release it and move on to a freer, healthier way of thinking and relating to yourself and others. Whether it's in the inner or outer world, this card is telling you that you have the readiness and resources to walk away from the old and move forward now. Okay, well, that's wonderful. So I hope that meant something to you, Leo, and I hope you enjoyed the reading overall. If you'd like a personal reading, please click on the link to my website, which is located in the description box below. Otherwise, have a wonderful September. Bye.